but listen, I thought the Titans could go up there and win a rock fight. It was a rock fight for a little while, and then it just kept getting worse and kept getting worse. So we were, as a show, we were wrong about this game for sure.
Yeah, everybody was entirely wrong about this game,
including the Titans coaches and players. So I wrote down 3 games that come to mind, and some of them because of like the statistics and the anomaly, and some of it like I wrote down immediately the 21-0 loss. The only 2 times Mike Vrabel's teams have scored fewer points than 3 was the 21-0 loss to Baltimore, in which Marcus Mariota was sacked 11 times. That game was at home, so that's why that one has an asterisk as well. And they only rushed for 55 yards, the 3rd lowest total in the history of the Mike Vrabel era. The 2nd lowest rushing total in the history of the Mike Vrabel era, 39 yards rushing against Denver, also a big donut, 16-0. And, of course, that game, monumentally important to the franchise because Marcus gets benched. Otherwise, 3 points is not the worst, but I just told you the other 2. 94 yards of total offense is by, other than that Baltimore game, which is 106 yards of offense, never before has a Mike Vrabel
like
team.
50% came on one pass.
Never before has a Mike Vrabel coach team ever been held under 100 yards. First time ever. It's only happened under 180 yards like twice. Never before has a Mike Vrabel coach football team been held under 39 yards rushing. 26 yards rushing on Sunday against Cleveland. So while it wasn't at home and it wasn't 11 sacks and it wasn't a shutout, it was statistically 2 of 12 on third down. And from a rushing perspective, the worst offensive football output in the history of Mike Vrabel's coaching career.
Yeah, and it's a weird game because it's obviously all hinges on the offensive line and the terrible defense. Like, obviously, you could throw in Treylon Burks in there, but yet again, on the list of the people that you should be blaming, Ryan Tannehill and Tim Kelly are kind of far down on the list, depending on how much Tim Kelly is actually part of the game plan or has devised the game plan. Because to me, this was embarrassing. There's a video floating around in the fourth quarter where Myles Garrett is moving from the left side to the right side to the left side, and 2 tight ends are following him the entire time. Ridiculous. First off, why not throw just a one offensive lineman extra out there to let your other tight ends, to let one of the tight ends actually go out for a pass?
Like you're not even faking it at that point.
It's ridiculous, and it's an embarrassment. I'm ashamed and embarrassed of this team on their behalf because I'm sure they are embarrassed and ashamed. And there's scary patterns starting to emerge, dating all the way back to last season. People can discount the losing streak and say, well, we can't carry it over. But then you're, like I said on Stacking Inbox this morning, that means that you're purposely eliminating and ignoring data. I mean, that is some data points, and there's some real issues. And weirdly enough, it's Ryan Tannehill's fault, but it's not Ryan Tannehill's fault. Ryan Tannehill, as a passer, did everything he could within the limits of the offensive line. But the problem is 0 scrambles, back-to-back 0 scrambles. The mobility is not there to generate plays. And when you look around the league, quarterbacks have to be able to make plays and extend plays using their legs. Ryan Tannehill cannot do that, and that is a death sentence behind this offensive line.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I want to get you to sort of rattle off some of the metrics because, again, I think 7 sacks, 3 of which were on Dillard. We'll get to that fix, which I think is an easy one. I agree that Ryan Tannehill is down the list of things that I'm concerned about in terms of this performance. It doesn't mean he played a good game. I mean, he was rushing the ball. He missed a Treylon Burks, which could have been an explosive play that changes the game. When I think it was 13-3 on like either the last play of the first half or the first drive of the second half. I can't remember exactly
Treylon Burks also did nobody any favors by going 1 for 6.
And Burks dropped another long pass in the second half down the sideline that could have been, it was a very good throw by Tannehill. So I don't think Tannehill helped, but I don't think he was one of the worst. I mean, the offensive line on offense is the clear problem. I mean, there was also drops. I mean, Chig dropped a wide open pass on a third down. Like
3 drops.
It was not a good game by anybody. So if we're having to start this show, brought to you by Sinkers Beverages and Kingston Group, by saying, is this the worst game Mike Vrabel's ever coached? Like, I don't know how much detail we really need to spend on, because we just kind of, now you also can't flush it the way sometimes you do in sports, no matter the sport, where it's so bad, it's so out of character, it's so not what we do that you sometimes just got to say, fuck it, it's gone, it's out of our minds. We're not going to even watch the tape. We got to move forward. But to your point, we're starting to see week 1's a liar. Week 2 gives us a little more data. By week 3, there's starting to be some trend lines, and it doesn't mean they're permanent. It doesn't mean, and Pretty Boy Lipschitz already says, some of this is a little bit of an overreaction because the Browns and Saints have 2 of the better defenses in the league. I don't disagree, but
the Browns have really great defenses against shitty offenses.
And again, this is my point. Like that's good context for now.
Yeah.
They might end up as one of the best defenses in the NFL. We don't know. We just, again, it's all trend line stuff that we have to keep an eye on. And so I want to, let's get into the game plan of this, because Tim Kelly has largely gone the first 2 weeks as a, hey, this was the right strategy. You got guys open in week 1, Tannehill missed them. You got guys open in week 2, Tannehill found them. The offensive line, you kind of schemed around your deficiencies. Okay. We talked a little bit about first down and about play action on Thursday's show. Those are the 2 big topics we discussed. And we kind of waffled back and forth on play action. I think you landed on we should use more of it. I want to say you tweeted this out, 24% play action.
Mm-hmm.
Play action.
But he was awful under play action, like he was in week 1. He was terrible on play action 2 weeks now, which is so uncharacteristic of Ryan Tannehill, which is, I think it's just we talked about it after the week 1 game when we were kind of having an open discussion about, like, is it Tannehill's marriage to the scheme that's the issue? Can he work within this particular scheme? Or is it maybe a little bit of his age is showing? And we were kind of just talking, and you landed on, I think that there's an issue with Tannehill's fit inside the scheme. It's not that great. And I think I'm with you.
Yeah. I am honored when I get something that you kind of come along with me. That's an honor. Some of that is, it's hard to explain that theory because I still need to see.
I thought you did a good job of it, but I mean, he's play action is not his go-to. It's not his escape hatch anymore. He's been, for now, out of 3 games, he's been better off non-play action plays 2 weeks in 2 games. It's just something is off about this scheme, and he's not getting it, and he can't scramble to make plays.
And I don't think, while they were drops and some mistakes by the skill players yesterday, I don't think they're on the top of the list either. I think they're
put Traylon up there. Here's the thing. We got to put Traylon and Chig up there because we have been expecting all offseason to see year 3 jumps and takeovers in games. And outside of the one explosive play, which really matters, like, and it matters that Chig got open and Tannehill missed him in week 1, right? It matters about Tajay Spears twice in week 1. But as far as impact on the game, week in and week out, neither of them have been able to impact this game. And yesterday, they both had major drops. And I think I'm not saying that you have to blame. First off, offensive line, clearly. Clearly number 1, and defense is number 2. I think those are clear 1s and 2s, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So Joshua says, blow it up, guys. I think Tim Kelly is a talented play caller, but this roster is garbage. I think there are some pieces on the offense that fit the system very well. Mm-hmm. To your point, Traylon Burks, Chig are both second-year players. Spears is a first-year player, so there's still a lot of growing left to do. Z Dean says, one positive note is almost all players on the team are on 1-year deals. The Titans have $80 million in cap space next year. I agree with that. There's another positive I'll throw out there, and that is everyone in this division sucks because the Colts are in first place, by the way. And Pretty Boy says, at least we found a certified stud cornerback with Sean Murphy Bunting. The sarcasm dripping off the comment section there. All right, let's start. We'll start with the game plan, because Simmons said a lot of this stuff after the game, how frustrated he is. The coach better, play better thing's starting to get old because they're not playing better. They're not coaching better. A lot of miscues on defense, missed coverages on the final touchdown there, missed coverage on Al-Shair on the 4 touchdown. Frankly, they did
is terrible. Just
Christian Fulton in a contract year, one of the most important seasons and moments of his entire human life, has played 2 bad games and was missing for the other one. And so a lot on the line and a lot at stake for that guy. I think if you listen to sort of the like the breakdowns, the missed coverages, frankly, Deshaun Watson, I think, did the thing that we thought Ryan Tannehill should do in this game, which is short, quick, efficient passing game. And then as the game went along, they weren't even getting pressure on him. Like the first drive, the sequence that I thought ended the game was like the missed opportunity at the end of the first half by the Titans, where they get sacked and get no points. They come back, they go 3 and out basically, and then the Browns go right down the field on one of the most efficient drives I have seen. I think there was one, maybe that was one of the Murphy Bunting penalties on the third down, maybe early in that drive. But then Deshaun Watson truck sticks Amani Hooker on the goal line to get a first down, and then they run it off left edge with like 14 offensive linemen. Like, they did the thing that I wanted to see the Titans do on that drive, and that was the end of the game. It went to 20-3 at that point. Titans come back, go 3 and out. Chig drops a pass, and I thought the game plan on both sides is a major concern.